Hi, Minders. I'm here today with Dulce Salinas, and she is going to walk us through with a couple just question and answers related to reviews and how she has found so much success in asking for reviews. Dulce, do you remember how many reviews that you got last month?
Yes, 33 5-star reviews and 3 4-star reviews.
Yes, and that was the most anyone has ever gotten in the month. And the month before that, you got before more than anyone had ever gotten in a month. So I think that you've been doing an awesome job, such a rock star. So we figured for the rest of the Minders, we would just ask some questions, see what Dulce's secrets are, and see, if everyone can learn a little bit from what she's been doing. So Dulce, do you just want to tell us what team you're on and what your role is at Mynd?
Sure, I'm with the contact center team. What we do is that we receive calls from prospects, from people that is interested on our properties, and we provide them with the information about like the general info they need about the property and about how the process works, so they can apply with us or lease a property with us.
Okay, that's awesome. Super helpful. I know we get a lot of calls coming in to Mynd, so it's awesome to have you guys. You're a relatively newer team, or have you guys been? Yep.
Yes, we're a new team. I think I'm not quite sure, but I think when I started it, they were like 5 people,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started. Alex hired me. It was just me, and then he hired another 2 people, and then he hired like five new people. So I
Yep.
started. I think it was in March. So I'm kind of new.
Yeah. And I just want to say I love the energy that your team has and the team morale. I was in your Slack channel for a little bit when I was going to do a training session, and I just love your team. I mean, every morning everyone's saying good morning, hi team. Like I think it's such a great it seems like a great team to be a part of.
Yes, it is. It's nice to work with the team, with the
Uh-huh.
people that is working with us. Something that it's really good in between the team, and it's something that tries to make me better every day. Is that, I mean, we're a good team, but we are competitive in between us. So I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's part of how, I mean, all of us is like we're gonna be we want to be on the top, taking the calls. Well, of course I want to be on top with the reviews, but it's a pretty good team.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it. And I see you guys, have this great, you know, team quality where you guys call each other out too if things, if you're not answering the phones enough, you say, hey guys, this has to be better. And I think it just seems like a really a good team.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome. Okay, so um, going on to the next question. So how did you learn about the industry and the company, and just kind of talk about how you ensure that you can be providing top-notch customer service to the people you're talking with?
So about the industry, to be completely honest with you, I tried to get in this industry like more than a year ago. It would be like a year and a half. And I remember that sometimes when you want someone to get hired, probably they're looking for someone that has an idea about what is going to be the job. Sometimes it's just like we'll show you how to do it, and that's it. So 1 year and a half, I tried to get in the property management industry. I didn't have any idea of it, so it was like, oh, thank you. I mean, you're nice, but we're not looking for that. So I started to read, I started to ask my friends that work on this industry. So that's the way I learn a little bit about property management. And yeah, well, basically that's about how the best customer service is. Just, well, it's been I have experience in the customer service now for like 5 years.
Mhm.
So I learned at teleperformance here in Aguascalientes, Mexico.
Mhm.
So I think they're really good on it. So that's how I started with the customer service. And well, since now I have like 6 years working on customer service, that's how I know people what people need when they call.
Mhm.
So I try to read them, not read them, but when I hear what they say, it's like, what would I do? What would I want to do? The person who's answering the phone do for me.
Mhm.
So it's being empathetic. It's one of the best things that we can do as to provide that customer service.
Mhm. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And did you learn more about, having empathy here at Mind, or was that something that you learned before you came and started working with Alex and the team?
So after being a teleperformance, I mean, I was on a different. It was like kind of a customer service, but I learned a lot when I was a debt collector.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I was I was in the reinstatement department where people were really frustrated because their vehicles were gone.
Yeah,
So it's really hard because you know that you don't have the money to pay, and then your vehicle is gone. Maybe you use your vehicle to go to work, and I mean there's two issues at that time. So you really need to be really empathetic to people, and get to analyze if they were able to get the vehicle back.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a long process, but that's how I learned to be empathetic,
I
to
see.
feel what they feel.
Yeah, yeah. And you feel like working there helped you with the people that you're getting on the phone with now here at Mind.
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, it's because it helps you to ask the questions they need to be answered, even if they are not answering that. I'm sorry,
Mm,
even if they're not asking that, you know what they need, so that you provide the answers before they ask. That's
I
how
see.
you get a good customer service, like
Mm,
thinking about one step ahead before they ask you something to do. I mean, it's like when you give an extra. If you give
okay,
an extra or some of something, people is going to appreciate you. So it's
I
like,
see.
okay, I ordered a pizza and you gave me a soda. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh, thank you. That's
You're just
exactly how
staying
it
one
works.
step ahead. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's a good tip. So now, obviously we're here to talk about reviews too. And so I'm sure everyone wants to know, kind of what your process is, if you could be pretty specific, because obviously, asking for a review could be as simple as like, oh, I just asked. But what do you do and how do you find, specifically so much success when you're asking for these reviews?
So the one of the keys in here is first to provide a best customer service. How do I provide a best customer service? Well, I have a call flow. It's just to answer the phone with the company Mind. I say my name,
Mhm.
and then I ask how can I help them. After I have identified what do they need, I start giving them the information. Now, something that helps me a lot is that that's what I mentioned before. I give them all the information, even if they don't ask me that. It's I make like conversational the call, because
Mhm.
sometimes being on the phone or in a different area and being answering the phones is gonna make you to feel like a robot and just go straight what they need.
I
So
see.
if they're calling about a property, it's available or not? Yes, it is available. Oh, okay, thank you. That's all they need to know. I mean, that's why they called. But if I tell them it is available, if I tell them how many bedrooms and baths, it's the monthly rent. It's a process. It's basically our queue, the queue process that we need to have on the call to give them all the information. And then at the end I explain them about the self-tour. The self-tour is something that they really like, and while I'm generating the link, I just tell them that it's very important their feedback. So if they could help us with the feedback, letting us know how was the experience they had over the phone, that
Uh-huh.
would be wonderful. So it's like I help them for them to help me.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. And you were saying that you try not to be robotic when you're talking to them. Do you ask them like, how is your day going? Or is it more so you give them more information about the property when you're, trying to not be robotic? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes it's sometimes not always, but sometimes I ask them how's their day going.
Okay.
But basically it's like not have like the same tone of voice on the call. It's
Mm.
not like mind property management, this is also how I can
Uh,
help you. Is
uh-huh,
this available? Yes, it is available. Anything else I can help you with? No, it's
uh-huh.
hi, thank you. It's a tone of voice thing.
Tone of voice. Okay, that's
Mhm.
helpful then, because people can hear that over the phone. I think I heard something one time, I'm not in sales, but someone said like, answer with a smile, and people can tell that you have like a certain tone of
Exactly.
voice. So,
Yeah.
tone of voice is important, I'm sure, to a good experience.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, it's just, I mean, and we all, when we need a call, and I've have experienced that when I need to call the customer service, I don't know, if something wrong with my telephone or with anything. They speak that fast that you cannot even, I mean, understand what they're saying. Like, blah, 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 blah. That's it. I mean, you feel like you're not talking to a human. You feel like you're talking to like a robot or a
I see.
machine. So I like personalize the call and try to make it like easier for them to make it easier for me.
I see. Okay, that's good. Personalized tone of voice. Those are all good things. Okay. And then you ask them when you're on the phone, like, hey, I'm gonna it would be great if you could review me. So how do you, when you're on the phone with them, get them the review? There's a follow-up case, or how do you get them the link?
I While I am on the phone with them, I send them the link. I make sure they receive it. I
Okay.
send it. I tell them, "Did you receive the link that I sent you?" Yes, I received it. No, I didn't receive it. So if they say yes, I received it, I just save that link on my notepad,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm just like every 5 minutes, just
Okay.
I'm checking. I'm
Yep.
checking if I get the review.
That is awesome. So, and because I don't, I'm not on the phones and stuff, do you send that to them via like an auto case, or do you have their email or phone number? You have their phone number when they call and you text it to them, or how do they get the link?
Yes, another, when you create a prospect, well, I try always to do that. I ask them if the number they're calling from is their cell phone number, and if they can provide us with their email address. So it's two things that it's important to have, not just for the contact center. It will be helpful for the leasing associate, for the resident departments once they become a resident, because that's gonna short the process for them.
Hmm.
So that's the way I get the information. I mean,
Okay.
it's important to have both, and I send it to via text message or email, but I really make sure that they got the email. It's important to, well, the link, it's important for me to ask them over the phone, because if, and I mean, and it has happened like this week. I have sent them, they tell them yes, I received it, and it if they receive it, probably they're gonna write it. They're gonna leave that review. But if you don't mention that on the call and you just send them the link, it's like, I mean, they don't. I think they won't feel like not the pressure about leaving that review, but at least they will notice that you're asking for a favor. And if
Mm.
you just send it over, it's like, oh, I just get an email, and if since it's nothing, it's something that I'm not like that interested. If it doesn't happen, if I don't leave that review.
Yep. Okay. Could you, if you are comfortable with this, could you just tell me so that minders know? Because, so for example, I know some people are just they kind of feel, I don't know, hesitant to ask. So if could you pretend I'm someone and you just say to me what you would say to someone on the phone? If I'm like, okay, thank you, Dulce, for helping me, what would you say to me?
I will say, oh, it's been a pleasure, Diana. Before I let you go, I just wanted to let you know how important your feedback is for us, but it's more important for me. So, would you be able to leave me a Google review? It's not a survey. It's not gonna take you like forever, like surveys usually do. So it's gonna take you like 30 seconds of your time. If you allow me and you want to, I'll send you the link so you can leave that Google review. It's a comment, and please let us know how was your experience during our interaction.
Okay, that's so easy. That's perfect. Was it did it take some time for you to get comfortable doing this? Does it get easier over time asking for it, or did you feel pretty comfortable right from the start?
No, it depends on what the caller is asking
Mm,
and how I feel them on the over the phone. It's sometimes there's people like they just want to know what they're asking, and then there is other people that they are like receptive about what I'm saying.
okay.
So if I feel like they are really interested or they sound like grateful about the service I provided, I go ahead and send them. I go ahead and tell them about the review.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That was something else we were going to ask about. Like, are there certain situations you're more likely to ask? And it sounds like when they sound receptive, when they're not maybe in such a hurry to just get the answer
Exactly. Yeah.
and get on with life. So if they're receptive, if they seem like the situation is going well. Now, what do you do? I think this is important because obviously customer service is our most important focus. What do you do if someone is unhappy? Obviously, you're not going to send them a review link, but just so people know what happens and what they should be doing when there's someone who's unhappy, is there any certain process you follow?
It's not like a process, but if someone is not happy about something, I try to get that problem resolved on at the moment.
Yep.
Sometimes when you resolve a problem, I mean, you're going to be happy, but the person who called frustrated about the problem is going to be more happy about it. So I
Mm,
try to first um, find out exactly what's the problem, apologize, of course. Maybe it's not my fault, but it's something that you have to do in customer service. Even if it's
mm,
not your fault, you have to apologize. Sometimes it would be a human error, a software error, something. But at the end, the prospect is calling Mind. Is not calling
mhm,
Dulce, is not calling the computer, is not calling the software, is not calling the engineer, is calling Mind. And Mind is a mind. We are all Mind. It's not just one name.
mhm.
So once I have it identify what is the problem, I try to solve it. If I cannot solve it, I try to follow up and reach the people that will be able to solve it. So um I want to share with you something that happened to me. And I mean that's how I learned about the reviews.
Yep.
I had a call. It was a couple. They were trying to fill up the application, and for some reason there was a bug on the website. I was really frustrated. I'm like this. I'm a very apprehensive person. So when I have a problem, I try to solve it no matter what.
Yep.
So I got 2 hours and a half over the phone with this couple
Wow.
trying to solve the issue. And
Wow.
I thought that the problem was that they they weren't computer people. So I said
Okay.
they're missing something. So I said, what can I do? What can I do? So I tell them, meet me here. And I send them a meeting link like this Google Hangouts. And I connect them with them and tell them, and I told them, please share your screen with me. I need to see what you see. So
Yep.
that's actually how I knew how an application, what an application had, how it looked, because I was with them trying to fill up the application. So at the end, I wasn't able to fix the issue, but I found out there was a bug there. So I told Alex, Alex, I didn't take many calls today because this happened to me. And he was like, what? That's unacceptable. And I was, and then he told me, well, at least if you provided a good customer service, you can ask about the reviews. I mean, he wasn't mad at me. He was like
Yeah.
kind of joking,
Yeah.
but he told me you cannot stay over the phone with for 2 hours and a half with
Yeah.
people. You need to ask someone else if we can help you. And that's
Uh-huh.
how I learned I can stay on the phone for 2 hours and a half on just one call.
Yeah, but trying to solve their issue, which at the end of the day is important because, who knows if they would have been able to get their issue solved, or, maybe we just would have not known what the issue was. So
Exactly.
there's the pros and cons.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's some good takeaways from that too. So another thing is, so I know you are on the phones a lot. So do you typically ask for a review over the phone almost all the time, or do you ever do it in writing through a case or through an email?
So I asked for the review over the phone, and as I mentioned before, on Auto we have the option to send them a text message or an email,
Uh-huh.
and I definitely I need to send them either the text message or the email so I can make sure they receive it.
Yep.
So yes, I always ask them. I make sure they receive it. At least I know that they have the link. If they
Yep.
want to write it, it will be great. But if they don't want to, well, what can I do?
Yep, yep. But you feel like once you kind of build that rapport over the phone and you ask them over the phone, there's probably a better chance
Yes.
if you talk to them over the phone. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that makes sense. And I'm sure, for those on the team that aren't on the phone with people all the time, sending it over, in auto or via email or text, I'm sure, that's better than not asking at all. Would you agree?
That's correct. I mean, I can assure you in my experience that 99% of the times that when I have when I get the review, it's because I asked for that review over the phone. I have sent a lot of emails because I feel like the tone of voice or it wasn't that good from them, but I say, I mean, if they write the review, I sent them a text message or an email.
Yep.
So I said I send it over, and if they write it, it will be awesome. But like 1% of the 10 times or all the times that I have sent without asking over the phone, just one time I will get the review. I mean, people,
Mhm.
they usually they don't give you a review if you just send it like via text message or email.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think there's still possibilities for those that aren't on the phone all the time, but you have to just ask. You can't just expect they're going to look us up on Google and leave a review just because they want to. You probably, I would assume, have to send a link to have the most likelihood of them reviewing us.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, uh, if you don't send the link, it's impossible you're gonna get the review. It's like you want to win the lottery, but you don't play it. So
You want to win the lottery, but you don't buy a ticket. So
exactly. Okay, you don't buy a ticket. Yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
exactly. No, that I got you. Okay, well then, do you have any other tips for the team? I know we've talked about, you want to not be so robotic, and you want to provide good customer service first off, and you want to, of course, ask and send a link. But do you have any other tips to share with the team? Maybe someday someone can compete with you and get 35 reviews in a month.
Yes, well, I mean, identify the reason of their call,
Okay.
which we have talked about it. Um Something that it's I think it's good, it's to be quick but not that fast on over the phone, like okay, next, no. So the second would be personalize a call. Try to feel them, you understand, and you want to help them.
Mhm.
So basically I think that would be the three things that would be like how can you provide a good customer service and get the reviews.
Okay. So it just kind of keeps going back to providing good customer service, get their questions answered, or direct them to the right person if that's what needs to be done, and be personable if you can, but don't take too much time. They probably don't want to sit on the phone with you all day, even though it's very nice to talk to you, but they probably have other things to do.
Yeah, it's important to personalize the call. Well, I like to call them with their names. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's gonna make you feel you're not. Mhm. Uh-oh.
It's going to make you feel,
Oh, sorry, I think we had a bad connection. So it's gonna.
oh, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry about that. It's gonna make them feel that you're not just another person on the phone. It's a specific
Yep.
Jenna calling, and the person this side wants to help Jenna.
Yep. Okay. That's good. Those are some awesome tips. I feel like any minder that watches this is definitely going to come away with some good takeaways. And I think that if people have any questions, maybe we could, answer them. If people have tips, maybe be willing to, or have any questions like, how are you doing this? Maybe you could give them a couple pointers if they still want more help. But other than that, that's all we had to go over today. So I really appreciate you coming on, Dulce, and I think you've been doing such an awesome job, and it's really apparent in the numbers every month. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any additional questions, please let me know.
Awesome.